Hey guys, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about my good midlife crisis. I'm traveling through my 40s and I am trying really hard to group all my poop together and get my life in order. I am working on my financial, my physical, and my mental health. Primarily, I've been focusing on my financial health. If these sound like something that would be interesting to you, I really hope that you will consider subscribing and coming along with me. I would love to have you on my journey. If you already are subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you, and you mean more to me than I can ever actually really tell you. So thank you so much. I want to take a moment right now to acknowledge in my last video that I just posted, after I posted it, let me calm down for a second. I filmed that on Monday, and because if you watch part of it, the fuzzy part, I filmed on Monday, and that's when I talked about taking Emmett to the vet the next day, which actually it looks like I put on the wrong day here. But I filmed that on Monday, and then it was super fuzzy, and I did not have time to re-record it until Thursday. Thursday at lunch, I re-recorded it, but then my memory card was full, so it didn't re-record everything. So part of it was filmed Monday, part of it was filmed Thursday. The part that was fuzzy was the part that I filmed Monday, which is why, in part of it I talk about where I already took Emmett to the vet, and part of it I talk about where I'm going to take Emmett to the vet. But Emmett did go to the vet. But because everything was so rushed with that video, and I didn't have time to re-record it again, I didn't really pay attention to it. And it wasn't until I had already posted it and I was watching it back that I realized how many times I said I went crazy and I went insane when I was talking about my spending. And y'all, it made me flinch. I hate it. I actually considered taking it down because I hate that language, and I didn't realize that I used it as much as I did, but apparently I do. So I just want to apologize for that. I did not realize that I meant that, and if that was triggering to you, I am sincerely sorry. I didn't even know. Nobody said anything, but I noticed it, and so I am sorry. I did not mean to use those words, and I will try to watch myself in the future. A fun thing about things that people say all the time is, like I've mentioned before, I watch a lot of budgeting videos, and I have noticed a trend of people saying, if that makes sense, and at the minute, which I've never heard at the minute before I started watching budgeting videos. So I've started keeping a tally of how many times in this week I've heard somebody say, at the minute, and if that makes sense. And again, I acknowledge that I say things all the time that are just sayings I say, but I thought this would be a fun way to challenge myself to save a little bit of extra money. So I'm going to save $1 for every time I hear those two phrases in a sentence in a video. So I'm up to 10 if that makes senses. And it's not, I hope that makes sense. It's only if that makes sense that I'm counting. And I think I'm only at 3 at the minutes right now. But that's just for this week's video. So I'm excited to see how many I can save by the end of the month. So anyway, all of that is out of the way. Again, I am sorry, and thank you for watching my videos. And if it didn't bother you, then great. But if it did, I am sincerely sorry, because it bothered me. Okay, let's get into this. I wanted to quickly go over what I have spent so far this month, and y'all, my goodness. So, I've decided that I've been saving this money. Some of it didn't really have a purpose, and so I took $200 out of my Budget Mom savings so far to use toward Emmett's vet bill. So I used what was in my emergency fund for my pet bills, and then I took $200 out of my Budget Mom category, and I'm using that to pay for Emmett's vet, which was actually, well, I don't know, maybe it was Monday. I can't remember. This week was so long. Work was so busy. I just had zero free time. Anyway, so I went to my church camp on Sunday, and there was something wrong with the bathrooms, something wrong with the what do you call that thing, the septic, and we couldn't flush the toilets, which was super fun. So I had to stay later because I had to help clean up because it was my ecclesia's turn to host. So on my way home, I stopped at the first gas station I came to and used the restroom, and I don't know if it's a thing that everybody has, but the way I always was raised, if you use the restroom, you have to buy something. So I did stop and I picked up a snack for my drive home, and I used the restroom. So that was an expenditure on Sunday. I had Emmett's vet Tuesday. I told you I had a happy hour that was planned for the week before, which was would have been my sister's 40th birthday. It got postponed to this week, so I did go meet some friends for this happy hour, which was a really good time. I had such a great time catching up with everybody. I'll try to put in a picture of all of us out there. And then I also went to H-E-B that day and got something for the household and something for grocery. These stickers actually came with my Budget by Paycheck sticker set from Life in Envelopes. So I will link Life in Envelopes below, but this was her March mystery kit. So this particular kit is no longer available. But it did come with these stickers, and this is much neater than what I was trying to do last month. Again, I don't have any fancy no spend day stickers, so I just found this star, which part of a sticker set that I got with a calendar or something a couple years ago. And so I used that to indicate my no spend day. Thursday was, sorry, I'm making this work for me, y'all. Thursday was Cinco de Mayo, which would have been my parents' 42nd anniversary, which is 43rd anniversary, which is why I have the hearts there. I did order Chipotle because if you listen to my previous video, you'll know that I ran into a problem with Chipotle. Like, I waited over an hour and I never received any food, and I had ordered it on the app. But they did refund me my money, and they have made up for that, so I felt like I was allowed to order Chipotle for Thursday because I love Chipotle. I'm actually waiting on a Chipotle delivery right now. It's a problem, y'all, and I acknowledge that. So I did get Chipotle on Thursday, and Friday I went and picked up Jimmy John's and took it to Ginny's house for dinner, and that's what I had. Today, Nathan and I ran some errands. We cleaned the house this morning, y'all. That is hard work. I miss my house cleaners. It's not in my budget to bring them back, but I'm thinking maybe I can try to work out a way I can have them come in once a quarter and like do a deep clean. Because we took everything off, we dusted everything, moved the furniture, vacuumed, dusted the ceiling fans, did all the stuff this morning, and then we ran some errands and grabbed some lunch while we were out, and I went to Walmart. I got like a new scratchy pad for my cat. I got a card and a bag and a potted plant for my mom for Mother's Day, because tomorrow's Mother's Day here in the U.S. I got new PJs for myself, and then just some groceries that I needed, and that is all I have done so far. And again, I did just order Chipotle, but that was after I filled this out, so I just ordered that. Nathan is working tonight. He works for the state of Texas, and there is some sort of minor election going on. Because he's information security for the Secretary of State, he has to work whenever there is an election just to make sure that the elections are secure. So he is at work tonight, so I figured I would just order in some Chipotle, edit this video, watch something on probably Disney, and then just call that my Saturday evening. Anyway, let's get into the reason you clicked on this video, which is budgeting out my very first paycheck for the month of May, which I do not receive until Friday the 13th. Oh my goodness, it's Friday the 13th. Y'all, I didn't even notice that. So, let's go ahead and get into the budget page. Okay guys, here we go. This paycheck I'm going to be receiving on Friday the 13th, and then I don't get paid again until the 27th. So this paycheck has to cover all of my bills from the 13th through the 26th. Okay, the paycheck, and I'm basing this off of the last couple of paychecks that I've had, should be $1708.48. It used to be $1708.47 and then $1708.49 every other paycheck, but the last couple of checks have been $1708.48. And then Seth pays me $420 every month. This is for his car payment and then his part of the car insurance. And I am not anticipating any rollover because, like I said, I did have to pull out of savings. So if I do have anything left over at the end of this check, I'm going to try to put that right back into my Budget Mom savings where I had pulled it from. So I'm not planning to roll anything over. So my total will be $2,128.48. I'm going to pull that down to no, I'm not. Becky, that's not how you do this page. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my monthly bills. And it's worked out really well for me to have these written out the last couple of videos, so I went ahead and filled this out beforehand so y'all don't have to watch me try to figure out how to spell words and and write and talk to you at the same time. So, make it easier for all of us, I just wrote this all out. My OneDrive, that is my OneDrive where I pay for some Google storage. It also includes Microsoft Office for me. I pay $7.57 a month for that. Audible comes out, that is $16.18. I have not yet decided if I'm going to cancel that. That may be canceled before, or I may drop it down to the where you don't get credits, but you can still access their like listening library, like their free included books. I may drop it down to that. Actually, I probably will do that. I have one credit I need to use. If you don't use it before you cancel, you lose it. So I need to use that, and then I'll probably drop it down. Suddenlink is my internet. That comes out on the 23rd. It's $53.87. So my consolidation loan is $167. I'm going to continue to budget that $167, but as I've explained, because I am paying $500 a month and my minimum payment is only $167, it's actually not saying I owe any money because I've already paid $1,000, and according to their calculations, I should have only paid just over $300. So it's not saying I owe any money. It's not going to auto draft, but I'm still going to budget because that is the minimum balance that is due. Cinemark is my movie subscription. Y'all, I really want to go watch that Doctor Strange movie that came out today, The Multiverse of Madness. I'm excited for that. And then next week, what movie comes out next week? I can't even remember. We were just talking about it last night, and I can't remember. Anyway, if I think of it, I'll let you know. And then Chase Amazon, this is the last card that I have, the last credit card that is not a zero balance. This is the card that is in my dad's name, so I did not pay it off when I did the debt consolidation loan. And I'm making a minimum of $100 a month payment on that at the end of the month, and so far I have always been able to make that extra $100. I'm not sure how it's going to work out this month because I've already had to pull money out of savings, but that's my goal. I would like to get this card paid off by June, and if I'm making $200 a month payments, then I can do it. Otherwise, it'll be July. It's not a big deal. It's only an extra $100, but I would like to do that. So my total that I am paying for bills this month, or this paycheck, is $355.43, which will leave me $1,773.05 to bring down to fill my cash envelopes, which will be your variable expenses for the month. Okay, so that is $1,773.05. So I have gone over in dining out this paycheck. I know I have. I've already gone over, and I still have another week, but I'm going to go ahead and put the full 75 in here just because I know that I will still spend it, so I'm going to put it in there. Groceries, I think I've gone slightly over. I'm going to put the 150 in, but I may not need that because we'll see. I went over because I went to Sam's Club, and I always go over when I go to Sam's Club. Gas, I'm going to put another 40 in here. I still have just a little bit left, but I still have to go to Lampasas tomorrow to see my mom, so I'm not sure if I'll need this full 40, but I'm going to give it to myself, and then if I don't use it, I will roll it over. I should need the full 150 for my ecclesial expenses this time because I have 2 weeks of Sundays at $75 a Sunday. It's not a mandatory donation at all. It's just what I have decided I want to put in for my church. Contacts, I am doing $21 out of every check now because my contacts went up to $42, and that is every 4 weeks they ship them, so it's typically about once a month. So I put $21 out of every paycheck. And then taxes, I am putting $20 out of every, $20 a month away, just because that way if I owe money at the end of the year, I'll have a little bit set aside. Hopefully it will cover any overage. And if I don't owe money, or if I don't owe that full amount, then I will have a tax refund at the end of it. So I've got to move my ring light to get to the bottom of my page. So I have been filming these in my dining room, which works much better. For the table, oh my goodness, Okay, but I didn't feel like moving everything because I filmed my last video here. So that means my total for the envelopes is $436, which will leave me $1,317.05 left to fill my sinking funds, pay my extra debt, and go into savings. All right. So I'm going to bring that 1317.05 up to here. And then we're going to fill in my sinking funds. Now this check is going to get the majority of my sinking funds taken out of it because it's really my main check for May. My last check I actually received in April, and my next check is so close to the end of May that it's practically June. So most of my sinking funds are going to be coming out of this. So self-care, if you watched, I got that extra that $200 check, and I put $100 of it toward my self-care because I went and did some pedicures with my friends last weekend. I am going to still give myself an additional $20 because these nails are going to need to be touched up, and I only have $45 in there, or $35, and it's $50 with a tip for me to get my nails done. So putting an extra $20 in there. Clothes, I'm giving myself my $25. My dog is acting like somebody is at my door. So if there's a pause here, my food should not be here yet. But if there's a pause, I'm just checking my map, I'm sorry. Let me see. Chipotle has that delivery, tells you where they are. No, he's 10 minutes out, so there will be a pause. I'm going to have to go get my food here in a minute. Car maintenance, I'm putting $50 in there. If you watched my cash stuffing video, I did end up pulling some money out because I got an oil change, and then also my toll bill hit. So I pulled some money out of there, so I'm going to keep putting my $50 in there. Vacation is it's $50. I really need to start stepping that up. I'm going to have to look and see if I can revamp my budget. Passport renewal gets a whole whopping $177 a month. Holiday giving, I was doing $45.46, but I've upped it to $46 so that I can cash stuff that, and it'll be an even number. YNAB is my electronic cash stuffing app that I use. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it so much. And every video I have, I ramble on for like 15 minutes about how much I love this app. And I promise I won't do that. But if you are looking for a way to manage credit card, if you have a problem using credit cards, if you're looking for a way to manage that, if you're looking for a way to do budgeting but you're not comfortable using cash, or you spend cash like I spend cash, anyway, I highly recommend using YNAB. I will share my link in the description if you want to check it out. You get a 34-day free trial, and then if you do like it and you used my link, you'll get an additional 30 days for free if you decide to subscribe. No pressure. And if you are a student, you can use my link, but you get it for free anyway, so you don't need to get an extra free day if you're a student, or a free month, sorry. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say, but I save $9.20 a month, so that when my subscription comes due, I can just pay for a year. Wondershare, I did go ahead and buy my subscription for all the way through October of 2023 because they had a sale. And then I thought I was supposed to be saving $70, but somebody pointed out that I had put my goal in incorrectly in YNAB. And so when I corrected it, it's $250 a month that I need to save to have the $45 by October of 2023. So I'm going to put $250 away there. Sam's Club is my Sam's Club membership. It's due in October as well. I put $409 away a month. And then my registration and inspection, I need about $100 again by October. Everything is in October for some reason. So I put $866 away a month, and that'll give me $100 because it's about $75 for the registration and about $25 for the inspection in my county. So I save $866 a month. That'll give me $100. So the total for my sinking funds that I'm saving this check is going to be $217.22, which will leave me to bring down for extra debt and extra savings $1,099.83. I'm going to bring that down here to my extra debt. $1,099.83, and as I mentioned, my consolidation loan, I pay $500 a month. That is because this is actually a 48-month loan, but I am trying to pay it off in 12 months. So I'm making significant extra payments because I really, really, really want to be debt-free. So I need an additional $333. That's a zero, Becky. An additional $333 on top of the $167 that they're supposed to auto draft. In reality, they're not going to auto draft anything, so this will be $500. But I'm going to budget it as it's supposed to be, just so it can keep it straight in my head. So that will leave me, that's a total extra debt payment of $333. So that will leave me $766.83 left for savings. And here we go down to the last part of this screen, and that is my extra savings. I'm going to put the $766.83 here. My 52-week challenge always gets $53 out of every check. I do that backwards and forwards. So I did, oh, my food is coming. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to pause so I can go answer the door before my giant dog scare away my Chipotle driver. All right, I'm back and I have Chipotle in hand. So let's finish this up so I can go eat my dinner. Anyway, I do my 52-week challenge backwards and forwards. So the first paycheck of the year, I saved week 1 and I saved week 52. The second paycheck of the year, I saved week 2 and I saved week 51. Every way I do it, it's the next week of the year, and then the next to last week of the year coming in to meet. And it's $53 out of every check. That works really well for my budget. It's much easier than trying to come up with, at the end, $103 out of my last check in December after I've just spent holiday spending and gone crazy. And oh my goodness, there I go. I said it again. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to cut that out. Y'all call me on that if you hear me say it, because I really don't want to say that, and I don't like that I say it. Anyway, it's easier for me to save $53 a week than it is for me to save $103 out of the last paycheck of my year when I have gone and done holiday shopping and spent a lot of extra money, because as I've mentioned before, gift giving is my love language for giving, and so that time of year I tend to go overboard and spend a lot of extra money and do donations and do a lot of things, and so it will be harder for me to come up with a lot of money at the end of the year. So anyway, $53 is how I do my 52-week challenge. My emergency fund, I'm putting $172 in instead of whatever I was putting in, so it's a round number, and so I can cash stuff this as well. And again, my cash is not cash, it's fake cash if you watch my cash stuffing videos. But I like to watch it, I like to physically watch the money grow, but it's such a temptation for me to spend physical cash that I don't want to have it on hand. So I leave it in the bank and then I use fake cash to stuff it. My pet emergency fund, I know I stuffed it out of my last video, but I'm going to stuff it again because I did deplete it. It's completely empty right now. So I'm going to start it again with $50. And all of that leaves me with $491.83 to roll over to the next check, which I am going to do because my next check has all of rent and Seth's car in it. So this is basically Seth's car payment that I am rolling over. So my total here that I am saving is $766.83, which leaves me nothing left, and that is my zero-based budget. I hope y'all are having a fantastic May. I'm not sure where everyone is. If you had a 3-paycheck month, is this your first paycheck that you're going to be getting as well, or have you already had a paycheck or two this month? Please go ahead and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and go ahead and subscribe, and so you can see more of my content. I really hope that everyone is having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.